Suddenly Ducks. I'm Bermuda.
And I'm Phil, and today we're playing some Dark Heresy. And over to you, Warren, to tell us what the fuck's going on.
Do you remember what's going on? That's an interesting
I do.
Alright, does someone else want to give the backstory this time? Maybe Ollie?
Yeah. It's like when the teacher calls on you and you're like, oh shit.
I remember what we do.
So what happened last time in class, Ollie?
Last time, oh god. Hold on, give me a second. Sorry, music randomly started playing. Last time, we was on spaceship. We go planet. Planet is very holy. Phil tries to get cortex implants. Does not work. We all get our weapons sanctified because demons. We all dress up as pilgrims, walk our way with this massive crate into head person's thing, title I can't pronounce. Exorcist, that's it. Archacusist. Fucking say it.
Burn down a fucking house.
Yeah. Walk in there, he starts doing his shiz. He asks us to leave, then surprise stormtroopers. We all kill stormtroopers, then and then burn. Yeah, Boone. Not Boone.
Boone.
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, Boone. Yeah, Boone and some other people started burning down the library.
Burning down the house.
Yeah.
My house.
And then the head, Bitchface McGee, was like, hey, we better leave. So we followed him. We ran into Inquisitor Orsini, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and his like sex friend. And we had his sex friend. So
sure.
We had a little scuffle with them. We shot their stormtroopers, burnt down even more things. The Inquisitor and his friend managed to get away. And before he left, he called in a orbital bombardment. No, either he threw a demo charge or called in an orbital bombardment on the Citadel. Cathedral, that's it.
The demolition charge. Not
Yeah.
Melter bomb, actually.
A metal bomb, sorry. On the Cathedral. And we just managed to get out of there. And the weapons have been sanctified. And we now need to leave planet.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's a rough, very rough description of what happened.
Do it, man. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm. So you guys make it back to your gun cutter, which you guys have decided to call, I think it was, Silent Justice. Yeah. So you make it back to the Silent Justice, and for the next hour or so, you hear reports of how the Fratres militant have, the Brothers militant have locked down the city. There's purgation squads and everything else looking for the heretics that dare to attack the Cathedral of Saint Aria. You hear that the West Wing was almost completely devastated on fire and several thousand religious texts were lost. So overall, things are very bad, and the whole planet is now essentially under quarantine, and it'll be very difficult to get off unless you have very high authority. So you guys are back in your gun cutter. Some of you are grossly injured. It's totally up to you guys what you do from here on out. Victus, you were made aware that you were given a coded message of where you have to meet later on with Lord Inquisitor Deculus and the Light of Voluntaris again, and it's off planet, so you need to secure some way to escape Tria without any of the ecclesiarchy forces catching you and killing you for what happened, whether it was your fault or not, which kind of was, because no one asked you to light off a huge giant flamethrower in the middle of a library, but that's besides the point. So what do you guys
I can't read. I didn't know.
You know what books are.
He just thinks books are firewood.
You understand that they
They're
light on
meant to
fire.
burn.
I suggest to Victus that we bring someone on board the ship.
We are undercover heretics, so we are doing a role. Well, we burn a cathedral. I think first things first. I'm almost dead. I think I'm unconscious, so I'm at full HP.
You're they woke you up, but you're seriously hurt. So you guys will need Medicaid tests and everything else if you want to do it like that.
I will be doing that. I would suggest that potentially we get some people to come to the ship, or at least one person to like go and be our envoy to like find passage off this world. But everyone else should like literally get in bed, and I'll start medicating the shit out of them.
Well, someone who's good at either hiding and bargaining would probably want to do a run around looking for some way off the planet thing.
I'm good at one of those.
I wonder, I mean, because, like, most people probably don't know who we are, and we do have, like, Inquisition authority. What if we, said to, some ship, like, hey, we're with the Inquisition, we're in pursuit of these heretics, we believe they've gone this way, we need to follow them, or something. I don't know. Would that work?
You guys aren't Inquisitors, so your power is very limited
Okay.
to what you can do. Anyone with any sort of even remote authority over like a ship or even like just a big building has more authority than you do, really. As George knows from Rogue Trader, and so does Ollie actually, and Chris. Just because you're an acolyte doesn't really mean shit. It tends to get your hand chopped off because you insult various Rogue Traders. So, yeah, your choice what you want to do though.
How
Before
healthy is Flo?
How about we just stay for like a week on planet, resting up, and then try and
Well,
get out
you can't really do that because they're searching everywhere. They're even searching all the ships docked in the starport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gotta go
Okay.
now.
before I'm medicate, I ask like Jax while I'm on my bed, if I die, kill Boone and take over the mission. We have to complete it.
What?
I just look around for a moment, nod my head, rack the slide of my gun.
Make sure you say thank you kindly or whatever.
Would you kindly?
No, I don't say the keyword. I know it works, but I know he's not against it. It was Boone who started the fire, right?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This tends to be what happens when you fire off a giant flamethrower in a library, like I said. Books are known to be flammable.
In the eyes of a cleric, that shit is like what he did. Okay, so when I'm medicated, I'm going to search for someone to barter for a way out. Like maybe.
Yeah, okay, well if Phil wants to do his Medicaid checks first and foremost then, since you all seem to be interested in not dying, which is probably a good idea.
At least help Victus. I mean, we shouldn't be getting into a fight anyway, so it's not like we all need to be in full health.
So what are we? I thought I did Medicaid test when we were on planet, and this is literally moments after we just got back on board the ship. It's still.
No, you didn't do any Medicaid tests.
Oh yeah, no, I totally didn't. I tried to, but we were running too fast away from the fire.
And you were in another fight, yeah.
I did a bunch of things then, but they obviously probably aren't really still in there. I'll just roll again.
We are not doing first aid. We are doing real Medicaid, right? Because I'm on a bed and we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're technically in your office right now. I don't know if this place has a Medicaid deck. I guess you could use the detainment cells as like a Medicaid thing. Or
No, we have
there's actually a Medicaid.
Medicaid Bay.
Yeah, never mind. So, yep. You go ahead and do your Medicaid test then, Phil.
Okay, that was Victus.
What's your int, Phil?
54.
Yeah, so I'll say because you have the Medicaid Bay, Phil can heal for double his int regardless of what your condition is, right? Just to speed things up. Okay. So you get back 10, Victus.
and I failed on whoever I was doing next, which was probably, I don't know, someone.
So, well, who was next then? You have to choose.
I can't even see anyone. See people's health. They're really tiny. Let me zoom in.
Flo is kind of low. Well, you're all kind of low. You're all hurt in one way or another. Flo
Yeah,
and Jax are the next most wounded. Then Mira. Then
Well,
Boone. Then
I
you.
imagine Mira's probably not going to be here today, so Mira gets the fail. There we go.
All
She
right.
can stay on board the ship.
Nice use of the meta tool.
I will call out before next time. So Boone, you're getting the next heal.
Yay.
You've got 10 healths.
Thank you.
Jax, are you hurt?
Yes, he is.
Right. There you
Right.
are. Lots. Here you go. This is for you.
Off game, if I said, Jax, would you kindly get more health for yourself? Would he automatically heal?
He just goes, "Ugh," and, like his skin grows back. It's so weird.
Also, he shits his pants just a little.
Jack's anus is closed. Shitting is for the weak.
This is
That's
cool.
interesting.
You're gonna be
This is
shitting
for
for a
Flo.
week.
No, you've successfully been healed.
Okay. How many do I get? Like 5 or what was it?
10.
10?
Yep.
Lucky me.
This is for me.
Okay, I know what we are going to do next, and I think it's a good idea.
Victus, I healed you, right? Or no, I
Yes,
just
yeah,
healed
he
the
did.
bee.
Yeah.
You healed me.
He healed
10.
everybody, I think. Yep.
Yeah, I'm good now, I think.
So,
Other than Mira.
Victus, if you want to call a meeting, you can do it in your nice little meeting room in the middle, the dining and food preparation area.
Yeah, I ring the bell over to the.
Imagine he has like an actual little bell. He just rings really hard, and like one of those old like English state houses. He just
Yeah.
screams for like the maid or whatever.
And I do the motion to sit down, sit down. We have to be quick about this. I also call. I send a servitor to call Arch-Exorcist Tanadith.
Okay, he'll come as well.
And I propose our next action would be to try to infiltrate a missionary ship to our next in the destination.
You want to infiltrate a missionary ship to the next destination.
To our destination, the one we. And I ask if the Arch-Exorcist would have good connections.
So he just mumbles for a moment and says, "My only goal in this was to bless the weapons, which I promised Deculus. Though I can see that things have become rather difficult." And he sort of looks at Boone very disapprovingly and
I
says,
smile.
"There may be a way, perhaps I can aid you. A missionary vessel could be possible, though I think you would have better luck if you were to perhaps look for a transporter of pilgrims. They go to and from the planet quite regularly and would be less conspicuous than a pilgrim vessel." And then he sort of looks at Victus and says, "You'll want to speak to perhaps a free trader or a rogue trader who transports pilgrims for profit between imperial systems. There are several on the planet right now, though you do have a good way of thinking." And then he sort of opens up a hollow in the middle of the, a hololithic display in the middle of the table and shows you like the outline of the spaceport. And he says, "This is the mercantile district, such as it is inside the area. The planet does not allow many merchants, as this is a world of holy worship rather than one of profit and trade. But if you're to find someone who would be willing to look the other way and have the authority to leave the planet in its current status, you would find them there."
I nod and I say that the idea for infiltrating using a missionary ship instead of pilgrim would be that the Inquisition would be less likely to search missionary ships than rogue traders. Rogue traders would be the first ships they would try to search, seeing they are more manipulative with wealth.
He nods and says, "Yes, that is true. You may just simply have to find the right captain. I know not who is currently in port, but you may need to ask around and inquire as to who would be best use in this. However, I myself must leave quite soon. I've finished the rites of sanctification. The weapons are now prepared, such as they are for combat against whatever demon it is you seek. This one called Koros. I will be leaving within the next hour, and then, I do wish you all well, acolytes, and give my best to Deculus when you see him again."
I nod and I say thank you for your most holy assistance, and Emperor protects.
He just says, "Emperor protects. I only hope that the cost," and he looks at Boone again disapprovingly, "was worth it," and then he goes to leave again.
I light the glow stick and smile at him.
You son of a bitch. She just jumps to you and starts strangling you. But he leaves disapprovingly, and he clearly does not like Boone.
Okay, so let's say I have Pierre Ecclesiarch. Yeah, goddammit. I cannot say the name.
Ecclesiarchy.
Ecclesiarchy. Would that give me a +10 to barter Wayne?
If you're with someone who's in the ecclesiarchy, yeah. But a lot of the people who do like transportation of pilgrims and stuff aren't actually members of the ecclesiarchy. So,
will the rogue trader be considered nobility?
a lot of them are. It depends on their background, really.
Okay.
I'm guessing a lot of them, the ones on this planet, are because more the ones that are scum and villainy would probably stay away from a holy world.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, rogue traders are a very diverse bunch. They're all sorts, so they could be doing anything, or they could be anyone, really.
So what I would have to roll to search for a rogue trader that does pilgrim, how do you say, rides to our destination, and is a noble one.
Yeah, you could look for that. You'll just have to go to the mercantile district and try and find a captain. Doesn't have to be a rogue trader. It could be a free captain or something like that who'd be willing to
Yes.
transport you. You could lie to them and just tell them you're someone else. I mean, there's plenty of things you could do. It's very unlikely in the vast expanse of the Imperium you'll find someone who's going exactly where you want to go, especially since you know where you want to go here. Look, I'll show you on the map. I'll have to cancel that music. I need to stop that going on auto. You guys are here on the Shrine World of Thra. The meeting place where you guys were supposed to meet up is inside the gravity of a a red giant star, which is called the Throne of the Skyfather. It's this one here. This is the system you're going to meet up on. There's nothing in that system except gas mining ships, giant manufactorium ships which mine the nebulas around the red giant for gases used by the Imperium. So the only people going there would be people who are looking to buy like vast amounts of like helium or nitrogen in like bulk, if you know what I mean, or Kazion, things like that.
Do we have a timetable to be on our next destination?
Your meeting with him is within the next month, so it'll probably take a couple of weeks to get there. So you'll need to be departing Tria within the next week or two to make it on time.
Okay. I ask Astropass Bertel to send a message to the Lord Inquisitor,
To Deculus, okay, yeah.
to Deculus, to say that the first step is complete, heading for the next one.
Okay, so she will send the message. It will take a couple of hours, but it will be passed on to him.
Okay. Okay, I head to the merchant, the place you said that had the
The
captains.
Mercantile District. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want to disguise yourself in any way, or what do you want to go as?
Disguise.
And do you want to bring any of these lunatics with you, like Boone,
I'll take Jax.
who probably never wants to come back to this planet again because he's wanted all over the place and shit.
I'll take
Madman with the incinerator.
I'll take Jax. Are what they are called? Tech priests rare in this planet?
There would be a couple, but in general, the Mechanicus and the Ecclesiarchy do not mix well because the Mechanicus follows a slightly different religion, where they worship the machine god and they view the Omnissiah as like the head god, but they believe that the Emperor is the Omnissiah as like Avatar incarnate, if you know what I mean. So they have a large amount of differences. So while they're both like needed in the Imperium, they do not get along. Like the Ecclesiarchy and the Mechanicus really do not operate well together.
What I meant would be, imagine if I took Ficus, would it be a rare sight like... they know we have a tech priest.
They know what. Yeah, tech priests are allowed, and they're obviously because they need to maintain the equipment and everything else.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Then
the Ecclesiarchy doesn't like them. So.
I'll take everyone less Boone.
Okay.
Oh.
And Mira, I guess, as well, because
Yeah.
Mira will stay on the ship.
Okay, I take the ship and fly away.
Yeah. All right.
Fly
so
into a star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me reduce the sound of that. There we go. Okay, so you guys, do you want to disguise yourselves in any particular way, or do you just want to go out into the planet, like, as you
Naked.
are?
Flo's definitely gonna like cover her lower mouth again, like with a bandana or scarf.
I'd like to inquiry for good disguise. I'll buy disguises from someone that knows how to disguise people.
Disguise
there's
merchant.
Yeah, you go to the disguise merchant because they're on every street.
No, I
Fake
mean,
mustaches, fake mustaches.
for example, I go to a
Get your
tailor
fake
shop.
identities here.
I go like to a tailor shop and I ask, give us your best pilgrim suits or something like that.
Most pilgrims just wear like rough-hewn robes and things like that. You have some already, but I mean you can literally just get like some hoods from the back of the ship, if you know what I mean. Like rain weather heavy cloaks, if you know what I mean, and throw them over yourselves and no one
We've got
would
some of
really bat
those.
an eye. Yeah,
We all
exactly.
had rainwear.
Yeah, you could just wear them or something. Just make like a low-level disguise check, like plus 30 because of the this place is huge and everybody looks quite similar because of the robes. So.
I have 25 disguise. Does anyone?
Only one person has to do it for everybody who's going.
Yeah, but if
I've
someone
got
has
phase two.
more, if someone has more than 25,
Nope.
nope. Okay,
So hold on. I don't think I took it.
it's fellowship, so I should
Yeah.
have a higher.
No, I've got 11. Yeah.
So it's plus what? Disguise.
30 because everybody on this planet wears quite similar, like, poor pilgrim clothes, except like the Ecclesiarchy, who wear
Okay.
very elaborate clothing.
I'm just going to say laser clamp.
Yes.
Okay, so after a bit of work, you came up on the inside like the Squalopagium of like the Ecclesiarchy, so you know what pilgrims quite look like in the Imperium. So you managed to get the same kind of tan sort of cloth and dress it up over the weathered clothes, and everything looks quite decent, like your poor pilgrims. So you could probably blend in without much of anyone noticing. So if you want to head to the district, you can do it. Yeah.
We head there. And we would like to be disguised as rich pilgrims.
Rich pilgrims. Okay, sure. So you guys make your way out and travel through the streets of Aria again, and you do notice a few differences. Most of the major thoroughfares have been closed down. People are being stopped every now and then, which you avoid, or you shrink into the crowds and things like that by Arbitas or Brothers Militant, or even Battle Sisters who go around stopping people, ripping off hoods, trying to find who they're looking for. And it's very obvious that a very thorough and large scale investigation is sweeping through the entire city. Even every now and then, you're pretty sure you hear gunfire in the distance. Sorry, as someone objects to it and gets quickly dealt with, or any civil disobedience is dealt with harshly. And after about an hour or two of traveling, I'm taking some of the more back alleys through the city. You guys haven't even really left the spaceport, really, because the spaceport is immense. But you get to the mercantile area of the spaceport, and there are quite a number of large tavern houses here, mercantile guilds, and all sorts of amalgamations of trade that keeps the Imperium alive. So, is there anything in particular you're looking out for, or anything in particular you want to go to?
Is there like a high-end, like, I don't know if this is the correct word, but tavern like?
Oh yeah, there's like full on. Yeah, I guess tavern is the best way to describe it. But there's like entertainment areas and districts inside the mercantile area that you can go to. Yeah.
I mean, what's the opposite word of like? It would be a tavern for the rich people, to the like nobles, to the wealthy merchants, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know a word that would come to mind for that, but yeah, tavern would be the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Okay,
A
then
lounge. I don't know.
Lounge would be a good way.
I'll search for one of those.
Yes, if you want to make an inquiry test to like see where people of influence or someone who might be connected to someone who has a decent sized ship would be.
Um, Let me search for something. I have a etiquette. I don't remember if that has anything. The book about the Inquisitor's Handbook, etiquette. Nobles are school, blah blah blah. You gain a +10 bonus on charm, deceive, and scrutiny test. Okay, never mind. I'll roll base. Okay.
Okay, so asking some of the just simple passerbys or some of the merchants touting their wares. There's even large scale, essentially shops and warehouses around here, which are obviously there's areas of trade and dealing. There's merchants going to and from. There's hundreds of servitors, thousands of servo skulls touting messages all around the area, and in general, there's the wide hustle and bustle of the city. Which actually, I think I have a. Is this the one? I think that's. Yeah, there we go. So, uh, talking to various merchants, you get a general idea that the more large scale traders, or at least people who would be able to book passage for a large ship in a general area, can be found inside some place that they call Sanctum, which is a rather large tavern, well, lounge tavern, whatever you want to call it. Sort of meeting area for people who deal in large scale business at the upper end of the mercantile district. And even pointing it out now, you can see that it seems to be like a gleaming gold and silver tower in the distance near the center of the market. And everyone seems to indicate the more you talk to. A lot of people talk about it with something of like disgruntlement, that it's obvious that only the richest can even afford to even be remotely there or to deal with it in any way, and it will require some amount of influence or charm on your part to even remotely get past the front door, if you know what I mean. So Sanctum seems like your best bet if you're looking for someone who has full control of their own ship, capable of traveling through the warp, if you know what I mean.
We start heading up there, and let's see how.
Okay, well, on your way, like, there's hundreds of merchants, large, giant warehouses, entire districts seem to be given over to a variety of menial and pointless things, but every now and then you pass something that could be interesting. So if anyone wants to buy anything on the way, now would be a good time. Out of the people who are going, I mean, if there's anything you want to buy.
I don't suppose there's like on the table cortex implants.
Get your Cortex implants, one of the most rarest things in the Imperium, but yeah, sure.
We find it directly next door to the disguise merchant.
Yeah. Next to the guy who sells Space Marine Gene Seed. But yeah, no, I mean, you'll have to do like an actual inquiry test if you want to find anything. But otherwise, you can just continue on and ignore it. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, I don't have anything I want to buy. If any one of you.
No one wants ammo.
I'm pretty good, I think.
There's even like roving groups of sort of food merchants who have like servitors who move around them on like what do you call those things? They're kind of like stagecoaches, except they're lifted up by people. I keep forgetting the name of them.
Oh, it's like a sedan chair kind of thing.
Yeah. You know the way always in like the Roman TV shows and shit, those guys are always in those weird chair things that they're being lifted around on. I can't even remember the name of them, but there's like essentially food courts that get moved around by servitors and things like that, and you can buy any food that you want off them and things like that. So after a while, you guys continue on, and you get to the edge of Sanctum, which is essentially an estate in and of itself that seems to be run by a very elaborate nobleman of some kind. And once you reach the doors, you can see that men dressed in gold, sort of flecked robes, equipped with rebreathers and what appears to be shock staves of some kind, are standing at the door, and they're acting as bouncers. And you see one very elaborate party of what appears to be a free captain of some kind and an entourage of maybe 7 or 8 attendants behind him, as he dictates to them a massive bulk order of some kind, and he gets ushered into the building without much complaint, as he's obviously someone of importance, and they let him in without much due, or at least he's recognized by them. So, how do you want to approach this?
I have etiquette, which gives +10 bonus to charm on when dealing with high authority and formal situations. So basically, I act like a noble. And I would like to try and charm the guard into letting me pass, like if I was a nobleman. Like,
yeah, well, go ahead and like approach and roleplay it out. Tell me how there's 5 or 6 gold, as I said, like robed, gold flecked men, and you can see flak armor underneath the robes with long sort of silver staffs that end in sort of power mauls at the end of it. Well, not power mauls, like electric mauls at the end of it. And they're clearly guarding the door, and they let people in, but they refute most people who even try to enter, though most people are too afraid to approach them.
I approach the guard and say, "Greetings. I require passage to the sanctum." And as I'm talking, I give him like 500 throne gelds. I think that's a wealthy amount.
Yeah, it's
right?
quite wealthy. So go ahead and make a charm test. Yeah, you can do it on +10.
+10. So +20 total.
Okay, that'll go against his. So he looks you over for a moment as he was putting up his hand indicating halt, and once you speak your case, he just sort of looks you over for a moment, then takes the throne gelt purse from your hand and slowly slips it inside his robes, so that none of the other attendants beside him can see. He says, "Oh yes, Lord Rolfus, it's so good to see you again. My master has been asking for you. And before any of the other guards can say anything, the lieutenant sort of looks back at them and says, "Don't you recognize this man? Let him in. Shoo, shoo, out of the way. Open the gates." And they all sort of rush off to open the gates and let you and your party in without much further debate.
Excellent.
So, Sanctum itself is a giant sort of gold and silver tower, and there's essentially like escalators which lead up into the main thoroughfare of the tower. And it takes you near on 10 minutes of riding them, as the tower is immense, and the estate itself is a huge spire in the center of the mercantile district. You guys eventually make it inside, and the sounds of the city fade behind you. Hauntingly beautiful music, um, sort of classical music as you enter inside of it.
We search for a corner. We do like a group meeting, and I say, don't burn this shit, okay? Don't burn this place. And we leave to our.
Mm-hmm.
I know. If you burn this place, there's no way out.
Okay. So this music is like playing in the background as you guys enter. So it's all around the place, and you can see people, nobles, various traders, like discussing and swirling drinks of Amsec around the place as waiter servitors move between them and hand them what they need, and they discuss various businesses. The place itself is like a jewel-encrusted palace of some kind. So who exactly do you want to talk to, or what way do you want to handle this? And you guys look semi out of place in here.
I would say that we walk around and I ask the group if they can hear like someone that might be able to, like, if they can hear someone when talking like we have a ship, we're traveling to somewhere near our place, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Basically, keep your eyes and ears open.
Yep. So you guys can make inquiry tests. If you have peer nobility, you can make it at a flat inquiry test. If you don't have peer nobility or peer merchants or anything like that, it'll be at a -10. Okay, as most people will be disinclined to speak with the scruffy upstart who tries to bother their conversation.
Okay, and with that, I say laser clamp.
Okay, so asking around for a while, you guys spend maybe 20 minutes. You talk with the various barmen, the actual barmen, not the waiters, servitors, and things like that. And you actually, after a while, notice that the music that you hear is actually coming out of several cherubim, which are floating above the ceiling, maybe about a couple dozen of them. If anyone doesn't know what cherubim are, they're essentially like you can Google it. It's hard to describe them. They're angel babies that the Imperium grows in vats and things like that.
Can I have one of their skulls? I'm joking.
Anyway, they're going around playing the music, rather like saintly angels, essentially going around the place. But after discussing with various, various of the staff and things like that, and even some of the minor nobles about inquiring about passage off the planet, most of these men are simple traders who deal with the ones who move bulk goods from ship to ship. They're wholesalers. They're not the actual transportation or even captains themselves. The people of extreme influence who even have remote control of like even small ships are on the upper floors of the tower. So making your way there, Victus, there's one person that stands out more and more that you've inquired about, and it's become obvious that she might be your best bet off the planet. So let me just link her to you. So everybody can see her, yep.
Yeah, Captain Cecilia Hoyle.
Yep. So she was once a commodore in the Imperial Navy, but traded in after quite a large victory she achieved for the Imperium. Traded her, rather than getting a promotion, she traded it in for a warrant of trade from the High Lords of Terra. That was several decades ago. Since then, she's grown quite a powerful but small dynasty around her flagship. And she's been known on occasion to take flights of fancy, whereas most of the men and women in here are deliberate traders who plumb very particular routes and they're very safe. She's one of the few rogue traders here, and out of all those rogue traders, rather than simply following the Imperial Navy or the Imperial Guard or even Space Marines or the Inquisition like lapdogs, she tends to go for things that are more interesting, if you know what I mean, and obscure and out of the way. She's more of an adventurer than anything else, and it seems to have led her to great amounts of wealth. So you think that maybe if you can convince her that what you're doing is interesting enough or perhaps adventurous enough that she may be willing to hate you. It's also well known she hates chaos in particular. So she might be more, inclined to aid you in your quest if you maybe give a hint as to what it is you're doing or who you work for. She may even be interested to know you're the ones who, quote unquote, attacked the Temple of Arya or the Cathedral of Arya.
Let me see how I'm going to do this. First, we need to see how we approach her. Then, what I'm going to say to her, so I might interest her. Telling like the how much profit factor she has. Telling like the nature of our mission would be against our orders.
The Inquisition tends to like to keep things light-lipped, but if you're going to go meet the Light of Alantaris, she's probably going to find out eventually. But telling her every little detail might be a bad idea. But she has, like I said, she likes interesting things, so she might be more inclined to help you if she knows you're not just the run-of-the-mill passengers who happen to be wealthy, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I gave her like I sent to her servitor with a message if I could hire one or a servant, asking like giving a polite noble like asking for a meeting, but also saying that this is of a grave importance for the safety of the Imperium.
Yeah, you could attempt to broker a meeting with her, but she's in her own private sort of area of the sanctum, which she's clearly, being given as a guest of honor. So you'll need to go through her seneschal or one of her junior officers to even remotely get a meeting with her.
Oh, then I approached, instead of sending a letter, I approached the seneschal, if I can.
Mm-hmm. So her seneschal is something of a squat little man who looks more like he was dragged out from the administratum than anything else. He's clearly there to handle the bureaucratical side of her endeavors, as she's far more interested in simply, pursuing adventure and interesting things rather than anything else. So the man himself, he even screams bureaucrat. He's very busy, and it's obvious he seems to, he has several patrons trying to, broach her for whatever their causes is or whatever they need her for. And he seems to be shrugging off the majority of them. So how do you want to approach this man?
I approach, I first introduce myself and like greetings. I'm Lord Victus. I require to trade words with you.
So he looks up from his parchment where he seems to be scrolling down what appears to be the latest movements to and from whatever her ship are. He seems to be dealing with vast bulks and tonnage of gear and resources as he looks up from his scrolls, and several other adepts around him begin to handle whatever it is he left behind as he turns to you and says, "And why would Lord Hoyle or Lady Hoyle want anything to do with you, sir? What can you offer us?"
I can offer. 1 second. Let me rephrase this. I heard that your lady is a woman against chaos, a most follower of our Lord Imperior. Goddammit. I have my tongue like stuck.
Yeah, take a
Emperor.
moment. Yeah.
And I also know that she is a woman that's no stranger to danger.
Love?
To danger.
Why did you have to say that, Chris?
We were all thinking it. Come on, admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I have to offer is a humble request of passage to, let's say, a delicate destination.
So he looks you up and down for a moment and says, "And what would a lay person such as you know of chaos?" And you seem to have touched his interests, since most people don't even know chaos is anything other than like a murmur or a name, if you know what I mean.
I very subtly show him the Inquisition thing,
Mm-hmm. The seal you were given, yeah.
the seal, and I say that the horrors I've seen, I want to stop them.
So he looks at you grimly for a moment, sort of nods slowly and says, "I will return in a moment." And then he sort of turns to one of his adepts and clicks his fingers and says, "Horatio here will tend to your needs until I return." And then he scuttles off very slowly into sort of a large gateway room where two what appears to be household guards of the Hoyle dynasty open the door and usher him inside, and then the gilded door is closed again. And you're left for several minutes. If you want anything to drink or anything, it's brought to you by that adept Horatio or one of the waiters under his command.
One.
Yeah.
How old is Horatio?
He looks like he's well into his hundreds.
Oh, so too old for Victus. Okay.
Is it free?
Yes, everything is free.
I basically ask, not a meal, but snacks for the whole group, if that's okay.
Yeah, they bring you some small cuts of meat and some very fine amsec. So, after about 25 to 30 minutes, you kind of lose track of time. The door is open again, and the Seneschal comes out again, who introduces himself as Seneschal, let me see, Adonis. Adonis, yeah, that's his name. Seneschal Adonis. He says Lady Hoyle has deigned to meet with you, and you alone, Victus. Your companions will have to wait outside.
I nod and I ask the Seneschal if this is going to cost my hand.
He just sort of smiles and says, "The whims of his lady is often fickle. He's not sure."
This is off game. This is a thing from the Rogue Trader where our Rogue Trader cut the hand of someone that asked for passage on a ship. So yeah, I
Good
accept
job.
it.
Before you walk in, Jax taps you on the shoulders. We weren't allowed guns in here, right? Or
No, you were not.
yeah, he just bigs himself up, stands a bit taller, and just looks like he wants to follow you in.
I say to Jax, I appreciate that, but I must take this risk alone.
He looks back at. Oh no, Boone isn't here. Never mind. He just nods at you and is like, yeah, then returns to what he was doing.
Okay. So when you enter into the room, Victus, it's a rather long and gilded sort of hall, which has clearly been rented out completely to the Hoyle dynasty. It's obvious that this entire place also has bedrooms and an entire. It's almost like a penthouse suite inside the spire. And when you come inside, Lady Hoyle is sitting at the end of a rather large dining table, and you see in the corners of the room several black carapaced guards bearing what appears to be sort of like a eagle's hand grasping what appears to be a golden fiery sword of some kind. And it's clear that this seems to be the sigil of House Hoyle. And as you approach, Seneschal Adonis comes up behind you and says, "Please follow me." And he leads you to the end of the audience table, just in front of Lady Hoyle. I say in front, but the table is a good 20 to 30 feet long, so you're quite far away, and you'll need to shout somewhat to be able to talk to her. So he leads you there and asks you to please take a seat.